Village of Wheeling regular meeting is now called to order. Please stand for the pledge. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Roll call, please.
Trustee Argyris?
Here.
Trustee Brady?
Here.
Trustee Here?
Here.
Trustee Vogel?
Here.
Trustee Hein?
Here.
Trustee Lang informed the board he would not be here this evening, and President Abiscato.
Here. Approval of the minutes for the regular meeting of March 5th.
So moved.
Motion made by Trustee Argyris.
Second.
Second by Trustee Brady. Roll call, please.
Trustee Argyris?
Yes.
Trustee Brady?
Yes.
Trustee Here?
Yes.
Trustee Vogel?
Yes.
Trustee Hein?
Yes.
President Abiscato.
Yes. Do we have any changes to the agenda?
No, Madam President.
Thank you. No agenda. And proclamations?
National Public Safety Telecommunication Week, April 8th to the 14th, 2012. Emergencies can occur at any time that require police, fire, or emergency medical services. When an emergency occurs, the prompt response of police officers, firefighters, and paramedics is critical to the protection of life and preservation of property. The safety of our police officers and firefighters is dependent upon the quality and accuracy of information obtained from citizens who telephone the Emergency Communications Center. Public safety telecommunicators are the first and most critical contact our citizens have with emergency services. Public safety telecommunicators serve as a vital link for our police officers and firefighters by monitoring their activities by radio, providing them information, and promoting their safety. Public safety telecommunicators of the Village of Wheeling have contributed substantially to the apprehension of criminals, suppression of fires, and treatment of patients. The dispatchers of the Village of Wheeling have exhibited compassion, understanding, and professionalism during the performance of their duties during the past year. Judy Abiscato, President of the Village of Wheeling, does hereby proclaim April 8th through the 14th of 2012 as National Public Safety Telecommunications Week in Wheeling, in honor of the men and women whose diligence and professionalism help to keep our city and citizens safe.
I would ask that Jeff Weeder, the Communication Center Supervisor, come forward. And there he is, right over here, Jeff, please. And Mike Kelly and Tina Davis are here. And if you would come down here, I'd appreciate it. There you are. We thank you very much. It's always nice to know that when you call, you have someone that is on the phone that can help and direct where we need to go. Thank you. Thank you, and thank you.
National Volunteer Week, April 15th through the 21st, 2012. The entire community can inspire, equip, and mobilize people to take action that changes the world. Volunteers can connect with local community service opportunities through hundreds of community service organizations. Individuals and communities are at the center of social change, discovering their power to make a difference. During this week, all over the nation, service projects will be performed and volunteers recognized for their commitment to service. The giving of oneself in service to another empowers the giver and the recipient. Experience teaches us that government by itself cannot solve all of our nation's social problems. Our country's volunteer force of over 63 million is a great treasure. Volunteers are vital to our future as a caring and productive nation. Judy Abiscato, President of the Village of Wheeling, does hereby proclaim April 15th through the 21st of 2012 as National Volunteer Week in the Village of Wheeling, and urges her fellow citizens to volunteer in their respective communities, since by volunteering and recognizing those who serve, we can replace disconnection with understanding and compassion.
You probably wonder what happens with all these volunteers. Just an example. The Senior Center, 7,160 volunteer hours with something we don't have to put in the budget, which is $53,508. That's just one example of what transpires with volunteers. Volunteer, what does it mean? It means that you give of your time. It means that you have a desire to be in your community. I always look as a volunteer, and when I started to volunteer at the PTOs or PTAs when my children were in school, you want to give something back to the community. You want to give the school, you want to give the village something that we know that you are all helping us become what we are today. So we're going to read off all the names tonight. Now, first of all, when I don't say it correctly, it's not with disrespect, and with Elaine, with our clerk. It's just that sometimes you have trouble with the names. But we thank all of you. All of you. Some could not make it tonight. All of you that are here tonight. Without your help, we could not progress as we have in this village over the years. So I will start out, and we're just going to name the names. We have the Board of Health. Skip Beaver, Danielle Shannon, Patricia Tavinsky, Arthur Ebling, Valerie Gross, Ellen Simon, and Sue White. The Fire and Police Commission, Al Hem, Lou Kozak, Mike Moran, Al Palicki, and Bill Simpson. The Plan Commission, Mike Burns, Pam Dorban, Don Johnson, Bill Maloney, James Rafato, Norman Schaff, and Terry Stylen. Senior Commission, Martha Cross, Georgia Delaney, Judy Edelstein, George Heber, and Pat Mazarka. Clerk, will you go for the next, and then I'll go the next.
Okay, Police Department Volunteers, the Citizens Police Academy Alumni Association Board, Ellen Barnes, Linda Brissett, Tom Gardner, Betty Jameborn, Don Johnson, Ruth Lance, Carol Lancilotti, Linda Mueller, Cindy Spaja Mays, Susan Stein. Citizens Patrol, Brett Barnes, Alan Barnes, Kathy Belwar, Alice Bendig, Mary Bolton, Frank Brissett, Linda Brissett, Carrie Ira Brown, Marty Chapman, Linda Claver, Monica Gajek, Tom Gardner, Betty Jamborn, Marlene Goodman, Ronald Grandstrom, Don Harrington, Carol Jarecki, Sadie Johns, Don Johnson, Danielle Jerez, Carol Lancilotti, Ann Lewandowski, Ricky Lewandowski, Yelena Melvin Ovaska, Chuck Mason, Faye Mason, Chuck McAtee, Desmond McDonald, Kate McHugh, Linda Mueller, Sandy Nitz, Perry Parini, Charlene Perlo, Edward Parlo, Bogna Perikowaska, Steve Powers, Rob Reisman, John Richmond, Barb Riley, Arna Rodriguez, Cindy Spaja Mays, Bill Wilson, and Marie Woodruff.
You did that pretty good.
Except for that one.
Mine won't be as easy, believe me. And we have the Senior Center volunteers. Jerome Bash, Lee Becker, Joel Borak, Lorraine Bauer, Bill Brazilton, Doris Brooks, Fritz Casperson, William Churchill, Janet Clark, Martha Cross, Edward Delaney, Georgia Delaney, Barbara DeMoise, Renee Dicker, John Dickman, Audrey Detzel, Patricia Dunham, Judy Edelstein, Flo Feiner, Leah Gaskill, Kathleen Gluska, Harley Helleck, Eileen Helleck, Marilyn Hams, George Heber, Estelle Heber, Doris Kelly, Ruth Lance, Gloria Letterman. Now, the next one I was practicing, but you know that I'm not going to do it right. So I am going to ask the senior center person in charge to give me that name correctly.
Yevgeny
Yevgeny
L. I can't say his last name either,
Yevgeny.
but he's a great volunteer.
There you go. Absolutely. And Cindy Spadges Mays, Blanche Makowski, Marian Marbella, Ioana Marcella, Pat Mazarka, Sharon McGowan, Fred McGowan, Pat Miller, Debbie Morgan, Laura Naba, Penny Neering, Jack Nikolic, Jean Nikolic, Mary Papantos, Kathy Pico, Richard Pico, Joanne Pervin, Rich Richmond, Steve Rosengard, Bobby Fondilis, Bobby Spiegel, Charles Vallis, Roberta Borita, Jack Ravita, Ed Walsh, Fred Wilstead, Pinky Winterstrom, and Lumila Zog.
Okay.
I almost made it.
CARE Community Assisted Relief Efforts Volunteers. Nicole Baker, Kathy Belwar, Payman Burilani, Mary Bolton, Linda Bressett, Merle Feldman, Tom Gardner, Barb Gerber, Estelle Heber, George Heber, Ruth Lance, Keith LeBrew, Ann Lee, Young Lee, Pat Mazurka, Charlene Perlow, Ed Perlow, Cindy Spajda Mays, and Roberta Bullride.
On behalf of the village board, on behalf of the staff, what a wonderful, beautiful thing we have in the village of Wheeling. And as you volunteer, and sometimes you probably think, oh, well, nobody appreciates what I do anyway, but you know what? We appreciate that because that's all your time, your effort, that you save the village and that you give back to your community, and how proud we are. Now, we always have these great celebrations, so we are going to have a little refreshments out in the lobby. And also out in the lobby, you will find your certificates are there, all by what group or board that you're on, so that you'll be able to take your certificate. And again, I can't say enough to say thank you, thank you, thank you. Do I have a motion to?
So moved.
Second.
Motion made by trustee Brady, second by trustee Vogel. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. We will reconvene at 7 o'clock. Okay. Time is now 7 o'clock,
Motion to reconvene.
and do we have a motion to reconvene?
So
please?
moved.
Motion made by trustee Ajira, second by trustee Here. All in favor? Aye.
Citizens' concerns and comments. Members of the general public may address the board with concerns or comments regarding relevant issues. The person submitting a petition, concern, or other comment shall be allotted 5 minutes to present their points. Mr. Nicholas?
Go get those guys, will you?
Thank you, President Abiscato and trustees. I won't take too much of your time. I know you have a lot to talk about, but I just have a little bit of a pet peeve. About a month ago, we got these things dropped off at my unit. And a couple weeks ago, we got these dropped off at my unit. And like every week, we get one of these dropped off at my unit. Some of my neighbors are not there, or they don't pick them up. So we have all these phone books, and it's like 20 pounds of waste here for the environment. It's also a safety concern, because if one of the neighbors isn't there and doesn't pick it up, someone may know they're not there. So I just like the trustees to maybe consider doing something about banning the distribution of these phone books and ad books in the manner of just dropping off on our front steps. Consider they could have them here at the Village Hall, the post office, library, even at Jewel. Go down to Chicago, they have the phone books in Jewel. Nobody's using phone books anymore. They just sit there. I pick them up and put them in my recycle bin. Thank you.
What's the area where you live again? I'm sorry.
In Lexington,
Lexington Commons.
but
I'm
it's not.
surprised because I know years ago you couldn't deliver anything there.
Yeah.
Remember? Yeah. Well, why don't you leave that? We'll take care of it. Mr. Fondilis will take care
I'll put it in my
of it.
recycle bin.
Oh, yeah, I can recycle.
We'll
them.
recycle. We have the bins. So you don't have to take it. Just leave it.
It's okay, I got it.
Leave it. Now we're going to argue, right? Leave them. Thank you very much, and we'll see what we can do. With the newspaper, I think that is that from the Herald? Or is that the Tribune that sends it?
Tribune.
Probably the Trib Local or the Trib. Okay, we'll see. Maybe we can, maybe with our voice added to it, maybe it'll help.
I think it's the welcome.
I've seen
Thank you.
Tribune goes there.
Yeah. Ms. Pikidis?
Hello. Village President Abruscato, members of the Village Board, managers Fondilis. My name is Panare Abacudas, and I'm the Director of Admissions with Robert Morris University, and we have just established our 10th campus now in Arlington Heights. Arlington Heights is also the home of the Robert Morris University football team, the Eagles. A little bit about football. Last year was our first season, ending at 4-4, and one of our players was selected to play on the NAIA conference team, which is a huge honor. So, go Eagles. But tonight, I am here with exciting news for the residents of Wheeling who are interested in higher education. Residents of Wheeling attending Robert Morris University at the Arlington Heights location will pay only $5,000 per year to complete a bachelor's degree in business management. Now again, the cost to the student is only $5,000 per year. That in many, many instances, that's less than 1/4 or 1 semester at other colleges and universities. So this is really a golden opportunity. We have had 2 prior class starts, and these students are so appreciative of these scholarships, and many of them could not have done this without the scholarships that we are offering these communities. So talk about these students being in the right place at the right time. The only requirement is to have residency in the communities of Buffalo Grove, Arlington Heights, Prospect Heights, or Wheeling for at least 1 year. That's it. Just an established residency of 1 year for here in Wheeling. This amazing scholarship opportunity is in effect for the upcoming fall class start, which begins September 24th. This is an evening program, and it is geared to address the needs of working adults, allowing them to manage their busy work and life schedules while achieving their higher education goals. These students are expected to be in class on site only 2 evenings per week, which is very flexible. For those interested in receiving information, please call me at Robert Morris University at the Arlington Heights location, 847-718-6700. These scholarships are offered on a first-come, first-served basis. And it's a pleasure to be here in Wheeling today. What a beautiful community this is.
Thank you very much.
Are there any
Thank you.
questions?
Just so they know, they'll be able to call concerning scholarships, to call you at 847-718-6700.
Yes, Mayor.
And we're, Arlington Heights is close by, and it's great to be able to offer things of higher education.
Exactly.
We thank you.
And those that finish from the local community colleges, they can just transfer right into our program.
Thank you.
Thank you so much for your time.
Thank you very much. Staff reports by Mr. Stavros.
Thank you, Madam President. IDOT is planning to replace the bridge on Wolf Road over Palatine Road. And some minor work will begin about April 5th, with the major construction starting between April 15th and April 23rd. The projected completion date is set for September 30th, 2012. Wolf Road, northbound and southbound, will be restricted to one lane in each direction, as will they will be working on one side of the bridge at a time. No trucks will be allowed over the bridge during this construction period. Detour routes for trucks will be posted on the village website in the coming days. There will be full lane closures on Palatine Road during the late night hours between 11 p.m. and 5 a.m. on several different dates which have not yet been determined. Traffic will be moved to the frontage roads during this time so as not to have traffic movement under the bridge. Dundee Road, over the creek over here, the anticipated start date for that work, weather permitting, will be April 16th. Some work yet to be completed is the bridge structure. Once completed, final asphalt will be installed, sidewalks, and restoration. I do not have a timeline on that, how long it will take. There is some structural work yet on that bridge that came up the other day, some questions about it, so they're reviewing that. So that could take a couple weeks until you find a fix for it.
Could you give us the date again for the first?
The Wolf Road Bridge over the Palatine, they'll be doing some minor work in the area and setting up, I believe, some barricading and getting ready to do some shoulder work about the 5th of April, which would be, I'm assuming, sometime either this week or the start of next week.
Friday.
The major construction on that bridge will start between the 15th and the 23rd. After the major construction starts, there will be no truck traffic allowed over that bridge until after it's completed in September. There will be one lane in each direction open for vehicle traffic on the bridge. And then, of course, at night, there'll be some closures on Palatine Road. Those will be detoured to the frontage road, so they go up and around, and they're not under the bridge. And again, the Dundee Road work over here is anticipated to start about the 16th of April, again, weather permitting. Thank you.
Thank you. And we'll have that on our
Madam President.
website.
I have a question.
Excuse me.
Please.
Excuse me, we will have that on our
Yes,
website.
ma'am.
Thank you. Trustee Brady.
Tony, are they widening the bridge or what on Wolf Road?
I can't say for sure. I know that the bridge beams themselves, the whole deck is coming off. It's being replaced.
That was all new when they rebuilt the Palatine Road a few years ago, wasn't it?
No, Palatine Road was grinded, overlaid. That was to be a total reconstruct, and it never happened because
Never
of
happened.
funding.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you. Consent agenda?
All items listed on the consent agenda are considered to be routine by the village board and will be enacted by one motion. There will be no separate discussion of these items unless a board member or citizen so requests, in which event the item will be removed from the general order of business and considered after all other regular agenda items.
So moved.
Second. Motion made by trustee Agiris, second by trustee Vogel. Roll call, please.
Trustee Argyris?
Yes.
Trustee Brady?
Yes.
Trustee Heer?
Yes.
Trustee Vogel?
Yes.
Trustee Hein?
Yes.
President Abiscato?
Yes. We have old business, which we need to
Motion to remove from the table.
motion to remove from the table.
So moved.
Motion made by trustee Vogel,
Second.
second by trustee Brady. Have roll call, please.
Trustee Argyris?
Yes.
Trustee Brady?
Yes.
Trustee Heer?
Yes.
Trustee Vogel?
Yes.
Trustee Hein?
Yes.
President Abiscato?
Yes. Resolution waiving competitive bidding requirements and accepting a proposal from Shafkus Brothers for the construction of a clock tower park on the southwest corner of Milwaukee Avenue and Dundee Road. Mr. Fondilis?
Thank you, Madam President. The board had directed staff to implement a design and bid out a project for a clock tower at the corner of Milwaukee and Dundee. The contract came before you several weeks ago, and since that time, staff has met with the low bid contractor and was able to do some value engineering that we believe will be able to be worked into the final contract amount. We anticipate savings of approximately $10,000 through some value engineering efforts, and Mark Janik can answer any more specific questions on the proposals themselves. And tonight, the contract before you again was sent out with 7 contractors responding, Shafkus Brothers being the low proposing bid.
Do we have any questions? Trustee Agiris?
Just a couple of things. It says quantity of bench, $7,000 one. How many benches are there going on this site?
I believe there's 5 benches.
Then why doesn't it say 5 for $7,000?
The contractor, when he bid it out, he took the bench as one item, and even though there's 5 benches, took them as one item and put them into one category.
Okay. Irrigation system 27.3, there's a notation here for $13,000 in lieu of certain pipes and heads and stuff like that. Is that coming off of the 27,000, 13 grand of it?
That's correct. The contractor provided an idea of what the credit would be to alter the irrigation system from copper pipe to plastic.
Okay, and so the bottom line, based on the 151, it'd be minus 13,000 then?
Well, there are some other items that there'll be a credit for that 13,000. There are a couple spots where there was some confusion relative to the drawing where the irrigation will be put in that wasn't expected to be put in. For instance, there's existing sod along the parkway right now between the sidewalk and the curb. There's no irrigation there right now. There are pipes that go to it, but the bid did not include piping in that sodded area. It included it where it wasn't sodded. So there will be some cost to put irrigation where that sodded area is. There'll be a credit for the change in the pipe, but there will be some extra cost for putting pipe in where the existing sod is.
Okay.
In other words, my point is that it won't be a net credit of $13,000. It'll actually be less than that because there is some area that will require more.
So down the road, there'll be a change order?
If the project is approved the way it is right now, there will be credits and some debits. It will be less than the amount that's part of the contract right now. I'm confident that the total cost of the project will be less than, say, the $328,000 and change, which is reflective as part of the contract. It will not exceed the $328,000 and change, $328,662.
All right, so just to clarify here, are we doing the base price plus the alternate one and the clock tower, what we have in front of us? We're including the wall?
Including the walls, the clock tower, and the base bid.
So you're almost at $329,000.
That's correct.
Now, just on a side note, I was all for getting this park done because it was the last piece of the puzzle on those 4 corners, and it looks nice. I mean, there's parking issues there, which God only knows the world knows about. And And I'll be honest with you, about almost a year now, 9 months ago, I was under the impression, or I had hoped that we would have kept this thing based on the size of the site in the neighborhood of maybe 175, 185. That was my thing. I always thought that clock tower was going to be about $75,000 and we were going to do some paver brick stuff and some landscaping, you know, and keep that figure in that 175, 185 range. I got a real problem personally today with $329,000 for a corner. Yeah, it looks beautiful, it's nice, but I think the timing on it is wrong. We have 7 years left of this TIF, and there's a lot of things that have been presented to this board in the last year regarding other TIF projects in that area. And we hear from our Director of Finance that we're, you know, the numbers are different. We're not getting the dollars that we thought we would on the TIFs because the EAVs have changed and everything else. Must be a fire, huh? So I just think personally the timing's wrong on this thing. We got a successful shopping center right now. It's got problems with parking. And I think if we can maybe put it on the back burner right now, alleviate some of the problems with the parking until we figure out what we're going to do with other properties around that area there to help complement that Crossroads TIF and the development around there, I think would probably be the right and the smart thing to do at this point. As much as I would love to see this there, I would love to see this there, but I think at $330,000, it's about $160,000 over my budget that I had thought this was. And great job from staff. I mean, you designed the thing beautiful and Shafkus and the bid and everything, but it's just a lot of money right now, and I think there's other things, other priorities that we need to look at. Thank you.
Do you have any other questions?
Madam President,
Yes, trustee here.
the architectural picture that's here, is this how this thing's going to look?
That's how it's going to look from that angle. Of course, you're going to see it from all different situations, but that's what it's going to look like. And now, of course, the rendering has lettering on the front wall saying Village of Wheeling. That is not included as part of the bid. That was put on there just to give you an idea of what lettering might look like on the wall. That's correct.
Unfortunately, though, I do like the Village of Wheeling on the wall. I think it just accents it, but I too agree the price. I'm going back and forth on the clock tower. I know others like it. I mean, I went by the parcel of land and went out there, looked at it. It's very, very small. And it's like, for this amount of money, it's like, I too maybe want to wait a while then, see if something else can come in. I don't know. That's all I have to say right now.
Do you have any? Trustee Heim?
Thank you. I too think that it's really nice. It's a beautiful, beautiful addition to the Village of Wheeling, and it does finish off the four corners. But I think at this particular time, we should probably put this thing on hold for a while because we're just now getting used to having the development there with all the amenities that they brought in. And I think that to spend that kind of money right now on that particular corner at this particular time, I think we should hold off until we got a better handle on this thing and maybe come back with it. But there's issues over there that have to be addressed and taken care of, and I'd much prefer spending the money, not only the issues there at that particular place, because they're good issues, they're because of it being so successful, but the whole area in general, we've got to take a look at and reevaluate, for lack of a better word, the four corners and how it pertains to that business district, because that is a major business district in the Village of Wheeling. Thank you.
Trustee Vogel?
I agree also that there's other issues that should be addressed first before we completely close that corner off, parking being one of them, and the traffic flow there. So I think we're better off holding off until we can get these other issues taken care of.
Mr. Fondilas, concerning the parking that keeps coming up, would you explain that area, please?
Sure, and Mark, if I don't address everything, please jump in. As far as the availability of additional parking by using this parcel of land, We really don't think that you can get more than, say, 4 to 6 spaces because it's a corner parcel. So in order to have proper ingress and egress from the stalls, you're not going to be able to fit any significant amount of parking on that space. So that's not to say then that if the board doesn't want the clock tower, you can't do something else on this space. But for all intents and purposes, this is going to be either open space or a park like it is. So just for your consideration, parking is not an option for this space that would be of any significant value to the project.
Madam President?
Well,
Trustee here.
Dave.
Dave first, Dave Vogel.
you know what?
Trustee Vogel.
I disagree with you, Village Manager. If we have to change driveways, or if there's going to be parking across the street, the ins and outs to get into the shopping center, I don't want that corner to be dug up a year and a half from now when somebody comes up with a new solution, and that's where I'm coming from. So I'd at this point in time say no to the clock tower at this point until we can explore all the other possibilities.
If you eliminate the clock, which is 100,000, I think the clock was,
129,000.
129.
and Mr. Shafkus would be could build that park, if you would, then that would be 142 as Mr. Shafkus put in, or would that be less?
Well, you could, I mean, theoretically, you could take the 2 smaller walls out and the clock, and that would be a savings of approximately $166,000. Just as an example.
As an
If you want to change.
Again, I'm not talking the money. I mean, the money is a lot. I'm not making light of that. But the fact that there are other problems there, I don't want to lock us into something that might have to be a year and a half from now removed. Well, why spend $200,000 to put some up and then have to move it or do something different with it until all the possibilities have been explored and the other problems are taken care of? I'm against spending a nickel on that corner right now.
I was going to make a suggestion that maybe we could plant flowers there this year just to make it look similar to the other one, since we're going to be spending money across the street, putting flowers at the both of the other amenities. I think maybe we can grade it and put flowers in there, if that's up to you guys, but I would have no problems with doing that. Otherwise, we're just going to have a big hole in the ground. So.
Do I have a motion?
So move.
Motion by trustee Agiris. Second?
Second.
Trustee here?
Yes.
Roll call, please.
Trustee Agiris?
No.
Trustee Brady?
No.
Trustee here?
No.
Trustee Vogel?
No.
Trustee Hein?
No.
President Abiscato?
Well, I vote yes. I hate to see that corner look the way it looks now. And we always say, let's look at it later. We're going to spend double later, just like we've done and have experienced, so.
It'll never get built.
Pardon me?
It'll never get built.
It'll never get built.
It'll never get built.
No, it's just going to lay there. So the parking will not be able to be there either, so.
We've been waiting for this price for a year and a half already. And it's probably increased by about 30%.
Yeah, and it'll increase the next time,
Yeah.
too. Thank you, Mr. Shafkus, for all your trouble and all your hard work. We appreciate it. We will keep that in mind if and when the event would happen. Thank you.
Want me to do it? Item 13, new business, all listed items for discussion and possible action. Item 13A, public hearing and resolution regarding 6B incentive for 230 West Palatine Road.
The public hearing is now open
At 7:25.
at 7:25. Do we have any,
We need a motion.
do I have a motion?
So move.
Second.
Motion made by trustee Agiris, second by trustee Vogel. Roll call, please.
Trustee Agiris?
Yes.
Trustee Brady?
Yes.
Trustee here?
Yes.
Trustee Vogel?
Yes.
Trustee Hein?
Yes.
President Abiscato?
Yes. Public hearing is now open. Is there anyone in the audience that would like to state for or against, I should say? Yes, come right up.
My name is Brian Brian Daniels, I'm with Keno Packaging Corp. We're the company that's proposing to buy the property. And we'd like to move into the property, make some substantial improvements to the property. We've been in Wheeling before, had to move out because of space constraints. Now moving back in, finding this wonderful building. Without the 6B, we won't be able to do that. So we're here today asking you for that, to grant us that, and let us move in there, improve the building, bring our jobs with us, bring new jobs with that. On top of that, we're expecting in the first year to add 75 to 100 new jobs. So it's a project we're real excited about, and this is the step that we need in order to make that happen.
Thank you.
Question?
Trustee Adjuris.
Thank you. Thanks, Mr. Daniels. Your timeline on getting the construction done, the roof, the mechanics and that?
We're gonna phase it out. We're hoping to close this August and start our move-in right away, and it's probably going to take us a couple months to do that. Because of the nature of our business, we really can't stop at any time. We have to keep going.
Sure.
So we're going to do some of the work ahead of time and then phase the rest of it out over probably a 2.5-year period where we're going to completely replace the roof, redo the entire parking lot, and then a lot of interior changes as well as all new HVAC, all high efficiency lighting in HVAC units, improvements to, like I said, the structure around the building, beautifying the land around it.
Sure.
Anything we can to get it, because we're a contract packager and strictly deal with food, so there's a lot of things that go along with that we have to do.
Now you're going to be relocating the 215 employees you have right now?
Correct.
To this site?
Around 200, and
Okay.
we'll be adding, like I said, 75 to 100 within the first year. We've taken on a new client that's pushed us into this new space.
Which is a good thing.
It's fantastic. Yeah,
That's
it
great.
truly is. Yeah.
Good way to be pushed.
It really is. Yeah.
I wish you the best luck.
Thank you. Thank you.
Madam President,
Yes, Trustee Brady.
in the, I don't know, maybe Mr. Frollo, you could answer this, or John, in the application for the 6B, it mentions that if the money is not, or the project is not started within a year, it goes back to its original state as far as the property goes. Seeing that this is they're asking for a 3-year deal on this, what happens if they start the project, but at the end of a certain amount of time, they don't go with phase 2 or phase 3? This is a 3-phase project. What happens, and how does this work?
Now, clarify for me.
Sure.
You won't be operating for,
Oh, no, we'll be operating, we're hoping to close in August, and by September, we expect to be running in the building.
and your construction project will go through when?
We'll probably have to do some of it the second we close. We're probably going to have people in there working. There's some substantial damage to 3 of the roof sections. Back in the 70s, there was an insulation used known as phenolic. Turned out to be a disaster. This stuff, when wet, turns to acid, basically drips down, ruins the decking, ruins everything under it. So that's the first thing we're going to do. And as we phase each part of the roof, section by section, we're going to phase in the HVAC along with it. It just makes sense to do it that way.
Trustee Brady, at this point, that property is being assessed as vacant. Once they're back in the property and with the construction started, the vacant assessment value will change. Now, I think the county is going to look to us in terms of whether or not we agree to the 6B, and that's the resolution you're passing tonight. If they start the project and start the construction as stated, I think we can let the county know that we don't want to see the 6B taken away.
No, I'm not suggesting that, but I'm just saying, if let's say they get halfway or two-thirds, maybe they get phase 1 and phase 2 done, but for some unforeseen circumstances, two years from now, they can't start or complete phase 3,
Will they lose the designation?
Yeah.
That's something I'd have to research. I don't think so, as I sit here, as long as they've occupied it and they're able to employ and run their business. I don't, unless that's something you're asking for.
No, I just asked a question. When I seen that 3-phase, I don't think we've ever done a 6B in phases. It's always been, we're going to go in there and do this, and that's it. Now, this is going to be a 3-year project, and when I was reading through the 6B application, it says if they don't start it within a year, I don't know if there's any completion amount of time on that.
No, that's not designated. And it sounds like they're clearly going to start it within the year. That's what we're hearing.
I hope so.
I think unless you condition it somehow, I don't think they're going to
I
lose
don't
the
want any
designation.
conditions on it. I don't want any conditions on it.
That'd be my
Okay,
opinion.
thank you.
Trustee Hein.
Thank you. I understand that these 6Bs are for 12 years. Is there, and you can come back for a re-up on it?
Correct.
I, for one, hope that we solidify that this is going to be for 12 years and only 12 years. All the taxing bodies that are affected by this, it takes a chunk out of their operating budget. And just like you, they have an operating budget, and we have to be very careful of that. So what we do here speaks for the rest of the taxing bodies, so I want to make sure that you understand that this is for 12 years.
Absolutely.
Okay, thank you.
I just got one question.
Trustee Juris.
Today, Mr. Furlow, you mentioned the taxes today are assessed as a vacant building.
Yes.
So say hypothetically that dollar amount, do you know what it is? But I saw the tax bills, it's say 150,000, just to use figures. Now, once they occupy and do the improvements to that site, what do we think that dollar amount will go to, Michael? Any idea? It'll go up, right?
I think Peter looked at that, so I'll defer to him.
Okay.
No, we did, and Mr. Furlow is accurate. Once the building was vacated in August of 2009, the current owner was successful in getting the property reclassified as vacant. What happens at the assessor's office is the assessed value of the building is reduced by 80%.
Okay.
So by having the building reoccupied, that vacancy status goes away, goes back to 100% of assessed value. So even with the reduction in the rate, as opposed to the value, which is part of the 6B program, we anticipate that the revenue impact to the village would be neutral or positively, slightly positive, based on the rehabilitation and the reassessment of a reoccupied building.
Okay, based on what you just said, though, if we're paying $150,000 on a vacant building today, now it's occupied, there's improvements to the building, what do we anticipate that real estate tax bill to be?
We don't have a fixed number.
Ballpark, Peter, I know you don't have one, but
Right.
ballpark, what do you think?
Generally, we think it'd be 10%, somewhere in the range of 10% above the current rate with the 6B.
Okay. And then it's, for 12 years, it's basically a freeze on that. Is that correct?
No, the property gets reassessed continually, just at a new rate. In Cook County, industrial buildings are assessed at 25% of fair market value.
Right, when the 6B?
And the 6B is 10%.
10%.
So with each reassessment period, the value will, we hope, inflate over time. So that number should go up over the years. It's just that the rate is reduced from 25%
to 10.
For 10 years, right, to 10. In year 11, it raises to 15%, and then the final year goes back on the standard assessment rate.
Okay.
Right there,
Thanks.
right on the page. Do you have any other questions? Then we'll close the public hearing. Do I have a motion?
So moved.
Second.
Motion by trustee Vogel, second by trustee Hein. Roll call, please.
Trustee Argyris?
Yes.
Trustee Brady?
Yes.
Trustee Here?
Yes.
Trustee Vogel?
Yes.
Trustee Hein?
Yes.
President Abiscato?
Yes.
Item 13A2, resolution indicating municipal approval of a Cook County Real Estate Class 6B status for certain real estate located at 230 West Palatine Road in the village of Wheeling, Illinois.
So move.
Second.
Motion made by trustee Adira, second by trustee Vogel. Roll call, please.
Trustee Argyris?
Yes.
Trustee Brady?
Yes.
Trustee Here?
Yes.
Trustee Vogel?
Yes.
Trustee Hein?
Yes.
President Abiscato?
Yes.
Item 13B, resolution accepting Federal Emergency Management Agency.
I had a little comment.
Oh, I'm
Yes, I
sorry.
did.
Go ahead.
That's right, you're really going.
Sir, she has
Thank you for coming back to us, and we appreciate anything else you need any help with, or just make sure you contact the staff. And a lot of luck, and we look forward to you doing your business here. Thank you.
Okay.
Okay.
Okay. 13B, resolution accepting Federal Emergency Management Agency FEMA assistance to firefighters grant EMW-2011-FO-09094.
So move.
Chief McIsaac.
Oh, he's going to talk? Go ahead.
You have nothing. Motion made by trustee Adira.
Second.
Second by trustee Here. Roll call, please.
Wait. Okay. Trustee Argyris?
Yes.
Trustee Brady?
Yes.
Trustee Here?
Yes.
Trustee Vogel?
Yes.
Trustee Hein?
Yes.
President Abiscato?
Yes.
Item 13C, resolution authorizing the village president clerk to execute amendments to service agreements with the Metropolitan Water Reclamation District of Greater Chicago and the village dated September 18, 1997 and June 4, 1992 for extraterritorial sewage collection and treatment service.
Mr.
So
Ferrillo?
moved.
Motion by trustee Vogel, second by?
Second with a question.
I have a second by trustee Hein, and you have a question, trustee Brady.
What is this?
This relates to the treatment of sewage from Lake County property.
Coming through.
Lake County is extraterritorial area for MWRD. The MWRD has agreed to handle sewage from Wheeling property in Lake County pursuant to agreements that were entered back in, let me see, these 2 years, 97 and 1992. Those agreements have to be currently amended based on a survey done by the IEPA. The IEPA is asking the MWRD to clearly state in those agreements that the MWRD is responsible for the pre-treatment of the sewage. The MWRD is the responsible agency. The agreements don't clearly designate that to the IEPA's satisfaction. MWRD is seeking these amendments from all municipalities or governmental bodies for which they exercise extraterritorial jurisdiction, which means for which they're going out of Cook County into bordering counties. For Wheeling, there's obviously some property in Lake County that MWRD is handling. Tony, did I cover that?
Thank you. We had a motion by trustee Vogel, second by trustee Hein. We have a,
I thought Question Stavros was going to say something.
No, I just said, Mr. Ferrell was right, and I believe that we'll be coming back in a week or a couple of weeks. We have a slight ordinance change we have to make too.
So this whole thing is just for that one little shopping center?
Target, center
Target,
over there.
okay. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah, thank you.
have any more questions? We do have a motion on the table. Motion by trustee Vogel, second by trustee Hein. Roll call, please.
Trustee Argyris?
Yes.
Trustee Brady?
Yes.
Trustee Here?
Yes.
Trustee Vogel?
Yes.
Trustee Hein?
Yes.
President Abiscato?
Yes.
Item 13D, resolution approving and authorizing the execution of an intergovernmental agreement by and between the Illinois Office of the Comptroller and the Village of Wheeling regarding access to the Comptroller's local debt recovery program.
Mr. Ferrillo?
Thank you, Madam President. The Office of the Illinois Comptroller has begun to initiate what's called its local debt recovery program. Through this program, the Office of the Comptroller is assisting governmental bodies in recovering debts that are owed to them, longstanding debts in some cases, by exercising a set-off against money owed to debtors by the state of Illinois. This law was recently passed. Before you is an intergovernmental agreement between the Comptroller's Office and the Village of Wheeling. It's a form agreement that the Comptroller's Office requires. Once we approve this agreement, there will be technical coordination that has to take place. The IT staff of both the Comptroller's Office and the Village are getting together to mesh databases, but this is a great opportunity for municipalities to recover debts that in most cases have been very difficult to recover. There is an appeal process set up for a debtor that is being targeted under this program. If a debtor in the Village of Wheeling thinks that the debt is unjust, once we let them know that we are exercising a right to a set-off against, let's say, a state tax refund, they can appeal that to a hearing officer who will make a final determination. So far, the City of Chicago has begun this program and has recovered quite a bit of money. We think it's going to work well for the local governmental bodies.
So move.
Motion made by trustee Argyris.
Second.
Second by trustee Here. Roll call, please.
Trustee Burgess.
Yes.
Trustee Brady.
Yes.
Trustee Heer.
Yes.
Trustee Vogel.
Yes.
Trustee Hein.
Yes.
President Abiscato.
Yes. Official communication, we wish all of you and all of those that looking at us on TV today, happy Easter and a happy Passover. Trustee Adjuris.
Just a question. Maybe we can get a consensus and give direction to staff to work with those folks over at that development at Milwaukee and Dundee and do something with that corner. I hate to see a strip of asphalt there with some grass and call it a day. I think, you know what, I agree with Trustee Vogel and disagree with the manager that you think you're only going to get 4 parking spaces there. I think the parking in that corner there has been reconfigured for a pocket park, and I think it can get fixed. And in my opinion, I think you can get every bit of 10 spots there or 12. And 10 or 12 spots with a different configuration of the parking lot in that corner over there, I think would do a world of difference of moving parking around there.
That'll look good.
I think it'll help. Something needs to be done, and I think staff should work with the developer over there and get something done, period. That's my opinion. If you want to get a consensus, great.
Shame of it is, we looked at this and waited for a year and a half, et cetera, and now we're at this part of the situation. I would say that if we're told that only 4 or 6 parking plots can be there, I would think the professionals would know that. But if you would like a consensus, I'm more than happy to take a consensus to give direction to again start from square one for that corner, which won't be developed anyway. So,
If I may interject.
Manager.
Thank you. Perhaps what may be best is to have staff come back with some options for the board to consider. I'm not sure what consensus can be given tonight, since we're not sure what the options are. So why don't we come back to you with some drawings that you can consider, and then...
Well, that's all I was asking for, Jim.
So that's what I'm responding with.
Okay, that's fine.
So the board is, the manager has responded, and the consensus, and they will bring back some different configurations for their, probably the first meeting in May.
Drawings for what? What are this configuration could you do there?
Well,
Let the professionals look at it. I'm sure they can find out, figure it out. What are you going to do, leave grass there and an asphalt strip there and not utilize some extra parking spaces there, or fix the traffic flow within that area?
Cars parked right up to the sidewalk will look great on that corner.
Well, let them.
Yeah.
Let them. Park by the sidewalk on every corner.
Of course, all the employees could park there.
Come up with answers, guys. That's why you're the professionals, not me.
that's correct. That's why we do have professionals.
That's right.
It's time to let them do their job.
Right.
Do we have anything else?
Do your job.
Okay, the approval of the bills March 15th through the 28th.
Motion with a question.
Motion with a question by Trustee Adjuris.
Thank you very much.
Mm-hmm.
If you don't have the answer this evening, Mr. Monashane, Active Transportation Alliance consulting fees, maybe you can get back to us and tell us what that is.
Okay.
Unless you know already.
I don't off the top of my head, but
That's
I'll get
fine.
back to you.
Sorry, I was going to call you earlier today and got kind of sidetracked. So.
Okay.
Okay.
Thanks.
The motion stands.
Oh, 1 second. Mark Janik knows the answer.
Of course he does.
The answer to that is the consultant that the village has contracted with for the bike transport, or the bike transportation plan in the village. That's who Active Transportation is. The money is being paid for
by a grant.
By a grant. That's correct.
Thank you, Mark. Thank you.
Motion made. Trustee Adjuris, second by Trustee Heer. Roll call, please.
Trustee Adjuris.
Yes.
Trustee Brady.
Yes.
Trustee Heer.
Yes.
Trustee Vogel.
Yes.
Trustee Hein.
Yes.
President Abiscato.
Yes. There's no executive session. Do I have a motion to adjourn?
No move.
Motion made by Trustee Heer, second by Trustee Hein. Roll call, please.
Trustee Adjuris.
Yes.
Trustee Brady.
Yes.
Trustee Heer.
Yes.
Trustee Vogel.
Yes.
Trustee Hein. President
Yes.
Abiscato.
Yes. Meeting dismissed.